Hi guys, this is gsndon.com and I'm here with the ASUS ZenFone Zoom for full review. We're testing the ZX551ml version and this is a camera phone, as you can tell by this huge camera at the back. So it was launched in early December 2015 and it's priced at around $529 on Amazon, and it's been a while since we last saw a camera phone. It's also the slimmest smartphone with 3x optical zoom, so let's get to the design aspect first. The front side is typical for an ASUS ZenFone model. We have a 5.5-inch diagonal and a very big camera module. Also, there's a leather texture at the back. ASUS claims it's real cow hide, real leather, but to me it feels like the ugly grandpa wallet, if I can say that. So now, as far as thickness is concerned, this model goes from 5mm to about 11.95mm as stated on the official ASUS website. So it's thicker than the Lumia 1020. If you want a comparison with another camera phone, that one was 10.4mm thick. It weighs 185 grams, which makes it about 15 grams heavier than the ZenFone 2 and ZenFone 2 Laser. Once again, the back side feels a bit on the cheap side and it can be removed, revealing the microSD and SIM card slot. However, the general build of the phone is quite solid. We have a sturdy metal frame that reminds me of the HTC One M9, for example. It's a very wide phone, certainly not easy to use with a single hand, and it passes to 201 production processes apparently. The grip is quite good, and bundled with the phone we get this lanyard here, looks pretty cute, and secures the phone onto your hand when taking shots so you won't drop it, and this lanyard goes right over here. Other than that, well, it's a big and massive phone, not exactly great looking, but people who are passionate about photography may get over that aspect. Now, if you want to talk about the hardware, we're dealing here with a 5.5-inch screen. It's an IPS LCD with Full HD resolution and Gorilla Glass 4 protection. We have no video player, so I'm going to have to resort to the Gallery app to see how the screen is doing. Okay, here we go. Video playback test in progress. I have to say that the screen isn't exactly very bright. It has cold colors, also modest contrast, and it doesn't behave very well in sunlight. We have wide view angles, and people who want a camera phone usually want to use it outside. That's why I think that it should use more contrast in the future. And we put the screen under the microscope. These are RGB striped pixels, and we measure the brightness, achieving 388 lux units. Once again, camera phones are best used outside, could have used a bit over 400 lux, for example. Well, at least this value beats the HTC One M9, Sony Xperia Z5 Premium, so not a very bad result in the end. As you can see from this review itself, the view angles on a vertical level are pretty disappointing. And now let's get to the settings area, and I mean settings tailored for the screen. We have here the usual brightness, font, sleep, and the screen color mode. That includes color temperature slider, got a blue light filter to protect your eyes, color temperature again, and vivid mode, and customized with hue and saturation. It's best to keep it in a balanced mode. So overall, not a very impressive display, but then again, these Zen phones are known for not having especially bright or crisp screens. The CPU inside this phone is a quad-core Intel Atom Z3580 clocked at 2.3 GHz, and it also comes with a PowerVR G6430 GPU and 4 GB of LPDDR3 RAM. There's 64 or 128 GB of storage, and we have a microSD card slot that increases storage with about 128 GB itself. There is no lag, the interface is quite fluid, and I'm guessing that this phone can run any game, including Xenowork that we tested, and including Riptide GP2 on the highest graphical settings without a problem. It can run Asphalt 8, the latest FIFA, Mortal Kombat X, whatever you can imagine. After all, an Intel CPU that was found on the latest Nokia tablet, if I remember correctly, plus 4 GB of RAM is a good enough combo to run any game. So performance is pretty much okay. The games are looking fine. Both this one and Xenowork, that's a third-person shooter with pretty nice destructible environments, so that's got to count for something. However, if you go to the benchmarks, you'll see that there's not exactly a big fuss over the performance of the device. And we have the results here. You're getting some pretty run-of-the-mill results. you'll find them in the text review. I have to say that in Quadrant, for example, we scored below the HTC One A9. In Antutu, we scored around the level of the LG G Flex 2, the ASUS ZenFone 2 and the Huawei P8, so typical mid-range device. Overall, it should have the same results, or pretty much the same as the ASUS ZenFone 2. At least there's no lag, so that's always good news. Speaking of good news, we tested the temperature of the device after playing the game Riptide GP2 for 15 minutes and achieved 34.7 degrees Celsius, so there is no overheating here. Once again, a good piece of news. Now, time to talk about the acoustics. We have a pretty small speaker right here at the back. We're getting Sonic Massive 2.0 technology, and the speaker has a 5 magnet system and a special metallic coil for voice. Hope I understood the system correctly. And we also have the Audio Wizard app with settings for movie, music, gaming and vocal, smart and advanced effects. Stuff like volume, bass, treble, dialogue enhancement and an equalizer are all present here, but you've seen those before on other Zen phones. Getting to the music app itself, once again the same Zen UI we've come to know, and this is what the speaker can do. The good thing about this design is that because of the camera bulk, it doesn't sit flat on a surface, so the speaker does not get muffled. The actual experience for the speaker is loud, we have a good bass, and all the notes are heard okay, plus the sound is pretty crisp. Now let's see the headphones. My guess here is that if you've seen ZenFone headphones for the past year, you've seen them all. Those are it. Slightly inclined when they enter the ear, they're comfy. They're loud and clear, they have an excellent bass, one of the punchiest basses I've heard in a while, and they have great surround, which is not easy to come by even nowadays with so many great headphones out there. Of course, we also have FM radio among this ton of pre-installed apps. This is it, FM radio, and we tested the strength of the speaker with a decibel meter, and we scored 82.4 decibels at the front, 82.5 decibels at the back. So it's an okay result. We're beating the OnePlus 2 and the iPhone 6s, so that's got to count for something. Still, we're below the ASUS ZenFone 2 laser that had 85 decibels. Now it's time to talk about the camera. So the main aspect of the phone is this 13 megapixel shooter with 3x optical zoom, 10 element Hoya lens, laser autofocus and dual tone flash right here. The camera does 0.03 second laser focus. It has a total of 12x total zoom and this dual LED flash I mentioned, as well as optical image stabilization. We're getting Pixel Master 2.0 technology and also specialized picture and video taking buttons available right here. Aperture varies from f2.7 to f4.8, and apparently the camera took a while to open up. And the front camera, just in case you're wondering, is a 5 megapixel unit with a wide angle lens. This is what the camera UI is all about. Those are all the capture modes. We got auto, manual, HDR, beautification, super resolution that takes 52 megapixel shots, QR code, low light, night, miniature, panorama, timeless and all that. Plus a ton, and I mean a ton of settings. Resolution, digital zoom, which as I said before, can go up to 12x. But once you're using the 3x optical zoom, you'll see that there's no quality loss, which is quite fine in my book. Okay, we got focus options and we got video options. You can shoot in full HD tops. And let's see what else. A quick access to the manual mode with white balance settings, exposure, ISO, shutter speed, focus, and even more here, saturation, details, and other things like that. One thing I must show you, we have an extra accessory bundled with the phone. So this is the extra accessory. It's called the ASUS Zen Flash. It opens up from here. It's basically a xenon flash that offers up to 100 times brighter flash than the traditional LED flash found on a phone. It connects through here. It's also magnetic, so it sticks to the back of the phone like this. And when it's connected, it triggers a special Zen Flash mode. It has its very own application and its very own settings and options, which include the low noise mode, night backlight and auto mode. with selectable scene brightness, and the distance towards the target should be at around 2 meters or 1.5 meter or other options like that. In the end, a very useful accessory that I like quite a bit because it's a very powerful flash. Okay, we already saw the user interface, and things to mention here are the fact that we get a pretty fast focus and the zoom is taken in steps, not exactly very fluid in my book, and the picture taking isn't exactly very fast, to be honest. Now let's have a look at the gallery. We have 123 shots and we're not afraid to use them. Here we go. So these are taken on a very cloudy day, and we do have a few great close-ups. There is not one blurred shot in this huge amount of captures. We have realistic colors, pretty good details. This is a pretty pragmatic sensor. We have great textures for these toys. Some nice focus play here and there. We played with the focus, especially in one shot, this one here. We alternated between the focus on the toy and on the background quite well. We zoomed in 3x with no detail loss, as I said before, so that thing is quite good. This is the zoom, so the statue was there, we zoomed into the top, registered no loss. Then we took some selfies, and the selfies, I would say they're mid-level, not exactly very impressive. The skin texture felt a bit artificial and the background was very blurred. This is a crane construction on a new mall, and here we started zooming in and zooming in a lot, and still, as you can see, details are very clear. Once again, we're very far from the construction, so that's the impressive bit. And we also took some close-ups of flowers because we couldn't help them, and they're excellent as well. Great level of detail. So among the 13 megapixel cameras, this one is doing quite fine, but there are many good cameras out there, don't make any mistake about that. We have a good HDR of this globe here, once again zooming in, regular distance, 3x optical zoom, and looking just fine. We also took super resolution shot of 52 megapixels with excellent level of detail. You can zoom in all you want and you won't find any blurry area. Panorama was a bit disappointing because the resolution was modest, 9600 pixels over 1008 pixels, and it felt a bit blurry, especially this area here, totally too blurry for my taste. So generally speaking, I'm pretty happy with the quality of these shots. You'll be able to see the full gallery in the text review. I put the phone on par with the Huawei Honor 6 Plus and on par with the HTC One M8 or even a bit above it, and let's say about 15% better than the ASUS ZenFone Laser. That was a pretty good camera phone itself, although it didn't have all the kinks and the works of this model like the optical zoom and all that. Now, during the night time, we also took a series of shots and found we don't have to use the Zen Flash for a powerful flash because this phone has a powerful flash of its own, the integrated one. We do have some pretty big street light halos, which you can see right here, but the brightness is quite good. Not a lot of grain and not a lot of yellowish hues, which is good news. Colors look excellent during the night. We also use the night mode to good results. A few blurry shots happened here and there, but we did some nice close-ups with the flash on. And towards the end we activated the Zen Flash, and this is what came out. Excellent details, excellent clarity and colors, courtesy of the Zen Flash that lit up everything around, and it has its own folder right here. So we got this example, this one and this one. Especially this one is very good, considering now even the light halos look better with the Zen Flash on. So I'm pretty impressed with the capture in low light conditions, and I feel that this model is above the iPhones from last year when we're talking strictly about low light capture. Now if you want to talk about video capture, we filmed in MP4 Full HD 30 frames per second with a 23 megapixel bitrate. And let's find the videos. I have to mention that the wind was not faced very well by these microphones. We have good clarity, nice colors, and pretty good focus, at least at first. Then we tried out the optical image stabilization, only to be disappointed a lot because it loses frames. It skips some frames every once in a while, tends to lose focus a bit, and the stabilization is actually not that good. 4K, even more videos, and some of them in motion. So we have this video here. This is one of the better ones. Colors look excellent, we got good clarity, but I've seen better than that on other phones. The grass tends to look a bit artificial, and when zooming in onto a subject, there's a bit of quality loss. We did that here, we registered that here. We start to zoom in, we lose focus a bit, and it zooms in steps, but in the end the result looks, I would say, reasonable, although there are some sacrifices like loss of focus and zooming in steps, but we're dealing with optical elements in the end, so that can be excused. I have to say that I expected a bit more from the video capture, especially because it's pretty much dreadful at night. So this is the low light capture. A lot of grain, loses focus a lot, and when it comes to filming, this model is below the ASUS ZenFone Laser that took some very nice videos. Too bad for the optical image stabilization that is not used at all well here. Now as far as the browser is concerned, it has as usual its trending searches and its ton of options. It has a pretty medium level speed, nice scrolling, and we have this virtual keyboard with special numeric row and the option for swipe. And that browser before, or better said Chrome, achieved some pretty decent benchmark results. Now as far as connectivity is concerned, this one is a single SIM phone with LTE support with up to 150 Mbps download speeds. There's GPS, GLONASS, we got Wi-Fi 802.11 AB, GN, AC, micro USB, Bluetooth 4.0, NFC, and in the dialer we can find smart dial, we can find speed dial, blocking, and the calls offered us a robotic voice, but okay volume and okay signal. We also did a speed test, and let's see what happened there. We registered 20 Mbps in download, 26 in upload via the local Wi-Fi router. Now as far as the battery goes, the ASUS ZenFone Zoom packs a 3000 mAh lithium polymer unit that offered us a playback time of, let's find it, here we go, 7 hours and 20 minutes, which is a bit underwhelming. We barely managed to surpass the entry-level phone Sony Xperia E4, which is a bit of an offense for a phablet, and then we did a PC mark test, and let's see what came out of that. So in the PC mark test, I can tell you right now we achieved 5 hours and 32 minutes, which is not very impressive. Here we go. And this means that we're below the ASUS ZenFone 2 and even the LG AKA, but at least we beat the LG G4. The charging is decent, at least 1 hour and 56 minutes, anything below 2 hours is accepted. As usual, there are many options for power saving. You can find them here. We have the main modes like performance, normal, power saving and super saving, plus you can customize your own experience, setting up CPU, brightness, network and extending standby if need be. Now if you want to talk about the OS and UI, we'll start with disappointment. We're running Android 5.0 Lollipop, which feels very old right now. It has the Zen UI on top, and this means bloatware, a ton of settings, a ton of options, a ton of updates, and that's not very nice. You know the drill already. At least the interface is fluid. We have lots of themes to play with, icon packs, we can lock apps, change preferences, so a lot of customization going on here, which is one of the good things maybe. Multitasking is based on a carousel. Drop down area includes those very big circular items, quick settings, and speaking of settings, we got the connectivity options. We have Zen Motion, which is touch gestures and the ability to draw symbols to launch apps. We have a one-hand mode. There is a glove mode here somewhere, do not disturb, users, ASUS customized settings, glove mode as I said, easy mode, kids mode, lock screen, and that's pretty much it. Now as far as the apps go, I said before that this is a phone plagued by bloatware, just like all the Zen phones. There are 63 apps pre-installed and 12 of them come from Google. Then we got those ones, we got ASUS Mobile Manager coming in handy a bit, Audio Wizard, do it later, quite useful, there's Mini Movie and a laser ruler, and you can pretty much forget about the rest of them, well, minus the Zen Flash camera. And now it's time for the verdict we're going to issue for this camera phone. On the Pro side, we have a solid build, okay performance, no lag, fluid user interface, good acoustics, and tons of camera options, as well as 3x optical zoom. The Zen Flash is very nice, plus the regular flash also very nice, great close-ups and great focus, and very good low light capture on the photo side at least. Now those are the pros. Let's list the cons. So on the cons side, the backside leather feels a bit cheap, the phone is rather massive, the screen should be brighter, and the colors feel a bit cold. Optical image stabilization is quite poor, video capture could be better, the battery was underwhelming, and we got bloatware and an old Android in the mix. Overall, this feels like the ASUS ZenFone 2 combined with the ZenFone 2 Flash plus an extra 15% improved camera and that 3x optical zoom and extra Hoya elements. It's a great camera, make no mistake, it's excellent in low light and pretty good during the day, plus or minus the video capture. The video feels a bit mediocre, but we have a very good flash here and that extra flash is also excellent. Things that are dragging it behind are the bloatware, the screen brightness and the battery. Those are the problems. However, the Cameraphone buffs will go past that. They will remain camera enthusiasts and enjoy the huge amount of features that this model has to offer when it comes to photo capture. Keep in mind, this is not better than the Samsung K Zoom camera phone. It's just a new camera phone and one of the few in its species available right now. And for a mid-ranger camera phone, it does its job quite well, but its drawbacks can be easily passed upon by camera phone enthusiasts. So this is it from gsndon.com. Bye bye.